Hello everyone, this is Miss Chelsea and today we'll be learning how to write linear equations from word problems. Our essential question is, how do I know which format to use when writing a linear equation? How do I write a linear equation from a word problem? So when you're trying to write a word problem, you need to remember words that mean slope, such as each, every, and per, words that mean y-intercept, such as starting at, beginning with, or initial amount, and words that mean you have a coordinate point, which could be when you are given values for a specific moment in time, or when you're given both an x and y distance. So anytime you have an x label and a y label. Also, when you're reading a word problem, you must ask yourself, what have I been given? If you are given y-intercept and slope, you need to write your equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. If you are given 2 points, which could be 2 moments in time, or 1 point, 1 moment in time, and the slope, you will use point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, where y1 is the y-coordinate of your point, x1 is your x-coordinate of your point, and m is the slope between the 2 points. You could also have 2 different rates, objects, or categories. In this case, you will be using standard form, ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, with a being positive.
Let's try some examples. For our first example, an excavation team is digging for artifacts. The team was at 30 meters below sea level when they began digging. The tool they use can dig 2.5 meters per minute. Write an equation that describes the depth of the excavation site in meters over any period of time. First of all, we need to decide which is our independent or x variable and which is our dependent or y variable. We control how long we are digging for, not the depth the machine reaches. Therefore, x is time in minutes, our independent variable, and our dependent variable y is depth in meters. Now we need to have a look at the information we've been given. The team was at 30 meters below sea level when they began digging. Since our starting point is 30 meters below sea level, our b value or y-intercept will be negative 30. The tool they use can dig 2.5 meters per minute. Since we have both meters and minutes separated by the word per, that indicates we have a slope where meters is our y and minutes is our x. Therefore, m is negative 2.5 because we're digging further down. Since we have a slope and y-intercept, we're going to use slope-intercept form, replacing our m and our b. Here we have y equals negative 2.5x minus 30. Now let's try part B. How long had they been digging if they reached 83.875 meters below sea level? Well, 83.875 meters below sea level is a meters, a depth. Therefore, that is going to be our y value. We are going to replace y with negative 83.875. So negative 83.875 is equal to negative 2.5x minus 30. We then need to solve for x. So first things first, let's get rid of the negative 30 by adding 30 to both sides, and we get negative 53.875 is equal to negative 2.5x. Then to get x by itself, we need to get rid of the negative 2.5. Instead of multiplying, to get rid of it, we need to divide. And so we get x is equal to 21.55 minutes. Now let's look at example 2. Tyler went on a hot air balloon ride. He was tracking the altitude as the ride began. After 6 minutes, they were 62 meters in the air. When he checked 9 minutes later, they were 146 meters in the air. Write an equation that describes the altitude of the hot air balloon during any period of time. He controls how long the hot air balloon ride lasts, not the exact altitude. Therefore, our independent variable x is time in minutes, and our dependent variable y is altitude in meters. Now let's look at what we've been given. After 6 minutes, they were 62 meters in the air. Minutes is an x value and meters is a y value, therefore we have a point. 9 minutes later, they were 146 meters in the air. So 9 minutes past 6 is 15 minutes. That's an x value. 146 meters is a y value. Therefore, we have a second point. If we have 2 points, that means we're going to use point-slope form. And in order to do this, we need to calculate the slope. So let's do that. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y-coordinate of the second point is 146. The y-coordinate of the first point is 62. And when we subtract these, we get 84. The x-coordinate of the second point is 15, and the x-coordinate of the first point is 6. And when we subtract these, we get 9. We can then simplify this fraction, 84 over 9, by dividing the top and bottom by 3 to get 28 over 3. That means that our slope is 28 over 3. We then plug what we have into our equation. Y minus the y-coordinate of the first point, which is 62, equals the slope, m, 28 over 3, times the quantity in parentheses, x minus the x-coordinate of the first point, which is 6. Now let's look at part B. What was their altitude after half an hour? Well, half an hour means that we are 30 minutes into our ride, therefore x is 30. We can replace x with 30. Y minus 62 equals 28 over 3 times the quantity 30 minus 6. If we work out the subtraction, we get 24 in parentheses. We can then multiply 28 over 3 by 24 to get 224. Now that we've simplified everything we can simplify, we just need to get y by itself. So let's move the 62 over by adding 62 to both sides, and we get y is equal to 286 meters. Now let's look at the third example. At the state fair, you decide to buy treats for your friends. The concession stand you're at sells churros for $4.50 and funnel cakes for $6. You paid a total of $72. Write an equation to describe how many of each treat you bought for your friends. In this equation, we are told that churros sell for $4.50 and funnel cakes for $6. That gives us two different rates. We also have the total, which is $72. Therefore, we will be writing an equation in standard form. When we do this, we are going to use our first rate listed, in this case churros, as our x, and our second one, funnel cakes, as our y. We can then put the rates in front of the variables. So 450x plus 6y equals 72. If you bought 8 churros, how many funnel cakes did you buy? Well, since churros is x, we're going to replace x with 8, and we get 450 times 8 plus 6y equals 72. Let's do the multiplication to get 36 plus 6y is 72. Then we solve for y. We move 36 to the other side by subtracting 36 from each. And then we get rid of the 6 coefficient by dividing by 6. And we are left with y equals 6 funnel cakes.